Angela.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, George. How are you doing?
Okie dokie.
You're doing okie dokie? Good. I'm glad you're doing okie dokie. Oh, you got your
Angela.
believe. You have your believe sign on the other side. Angela, hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm just having trouble
Okay.
with my screen. It's
You're
Angela.
you're hiding back there. There you are. Hi.
And this weird pop-up that is coming on my screen, I'm like, go away.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't need that kind of stuff starting up, right?
Yeah, I'm going to shut the
Yeah.
blinds.
Oh, okay. What is that? A nice backyard out back there? I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I don't know if that's any better.
Yeah. Is that your backyard? Looks nice.
Yeah. It's always dark in here, though.
Oh, yeah. I know. I've got light blinds too, similar to yours, and they always make it dark. Or we do. Anyway, I guess we probably should go ahead and get started, and the people that are coming on will come on. And did you happen to get my message earlier? I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to remember what it was. Isn't that crazy? I'm like, my phone's over there charging.
Oh, is it?
I'm like, I thought about it, but now I'm like, my memory is so bad.
That's about the story. Did you?
Oh, yeah. I had trouble with
Yeah.
my story.
You what?
I think I always have trouble with my story because people go, oh, boo-hoo, you.
Well, then you're really gonna boo-hoo me when you hear mine.
And they're like, oh, what? You're between 5 and 10 pounds. You need to lose. I mean, it's not. I feel like my story's not great. So.
But you know what? It doesn't have to be about losing weight. It can be about, I think sometimes getting rid of the pounds is easier than trying to move mountains out of your mind.
Yeah.
Those years and years and years of people saying things and you feeling, well, I don't know about you, but I always felt like such an introvert. I was extremely an introvert. So, but we'll get started. I want to read a quote from Og Mandino. I can't say his name. Mandino. It says, I am here for a purpose, and that purpose is to grow into a mountain, not shrink into a grain of sand. I don't know if you've ever read his book, but he wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, and it, without a doubt, this man struggled with depression. He drank a lot, and he never thought he'd be a writer, but he was hired by Success Magazine in the early 60s, I guess, 1960s. So anyway, I think that's I'll read a little bit more later about that. But for right now, we're going to talk about tonight about our brand and how we can use our story. And I know, Angela, you say your story isn't that much, but
Yeah.
there is more to it. There's more to it than that, because your brand can be your journey. It can be a mental thing. It can be a physical thing. It can be something on the outside. And mine is, it all starts out when I met, Holly introduced me to Beachbody in 2008. I think it was the middle 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. I'm not sure the exact time. But she invited me to a Beachbody meeting, and I wish I would have stayed as diligent as she does, because she's fantastic. But I just keep moving on and going forward. But the thing that where it starts is way back then, and shortly after I was introduced to Beachbody, I was in an automobile accident. You talk about a boohoo. And I was driving along one day. I was still working in real estate, and I switched, as George and I still do. And I was driving along to go meet a customer, and this customer, I tried to just turn to my right, and I noticed a lady who was stopped at a stop sign. So I thought, well, I can proceed. So I proceed, and as I'm proceeding, all of a sudden, boom, I got hit in the back. Well, I was in this little Toyota Prius, and she had this big SUV. So you can imagine what happened to my car, or our car. The back end was smashed. It was drivable, but that was about it. So I went ahead, we exchanged information and all that kind of stuff. And we found, and we both decided, oh, well, we'll just let the insurance companies figure this out and take care of the situation. But as I stood there, I realized that my right leg wasn't really cooperating like with walking, wasn't doing very well. And so I just told the lady goodbye, and I said, well, I've got to meet my client for lunch, so I've got to get on my way. So I went along my way, and the lady I was going to show some property to in Seal Beach, she was trying desperately. I really wanted to back out of the appointment, and she was trying desperately just to get me. No, please, I really need to see this property and blah 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 blah. So finally, I said to her, she says, just have lunch with me, and then you'll calm down and you'll be fine and it'll work. Well, as time went on, it got worse and worse. My back was hurting. I could feel the impression of my seatbelt across my lap. My hip on the left was hurting me. I could hardly really sit there without being in too much pain. In fact, I barely could eat. So I finally convinced her, said, you know what, we've got to just forget this, and I've got to, we're going to have to reschedule. I just have to reschedule. I got to get home. So she left, and the first thing I did was call George. And George remembers that day because he heard it in my voice, and he said, we got to get you to the doctor right away. So we went to a doctor because we didn't have insurance at that point. And which is, Angela, do you have insurance, Angela? Yeah, you have insurance. Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's a lot easier, but back then we didn't have it, So, and the doctor looked at me and he goes, you know what? After checking me out, he says, your stomach is bruised, your hip is bruised, you're not really getting along very well. I better give you a bunch of tests. So he labeled a bunch of tests and that sort of thing, and he said, well, you know what? Okay, after you see all these tests, I think I better refer you to a specialist. And you know what that does to you? You're like, what? I have to walk and show people property. I can't be hurt. I just can't be hurt. And so I think it took us I had to go through a couple of x-rays, an MRI, or maybe that MRI was later on down the line. But I do know that there was some things they were trying, I had to go through a bone density test because of my age and a few other things. So he said to me, I called him back to make another appointment. He goes, no. You remember, you're supposed to call the specialist. So we go to the specialist. He takes a look at me and my x-rays, and he says, I think you better go see a surgeon. And I went, oh no, this is not good. This is really not good. So a month later, we end up at the surgeon's office, and the surgeon says, I'm getting to something here. I'm sorry to make this long, but it has to be. Anyway, we get to this surgeon, and after looking at all of my paperwork, because I gathered it all up and I'm giving it to her, and she had that on microfiche and all this kind of stuff. Because remember, we didn't have insurance at that point. So I went ahead, and she said to me, she says, Peggy, you need to really have surgery. I don't see how you're going to get out of it. And I kind of guessed that because at this point, most of my right leg was pretty numb. I mean, I could get around pretty okay, but not too well, I guess the word is the proper word. I'm talking to some teachers over here. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
I'm going to try.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and I said to her, I says, well, what's going on? And she said, well, you've got two problems. You have spinal stenosis in 3 of your vertebrae in your lower back. And for those of you, I know, that don't understand what spinal stenosis is, I wish I didn't, but I do. Spinal stenosis means that the vertebrae around the spinal cord is crushing off the blood flow. So that is what was happening to my leg. I could not get any blood flow. That's why it was going numb and causing pain. She says, that's the easy solution. I can take care of that. But this other thing, I can't take care of. And I said, what are you talking about? She says, you also have Paranini. I went, Parahui? You know what that is?
No.
Okay, well, Paranini is one step better than osteoporosis. So this is why that little jolt from a SUV caused so much damage in my back. Not just in my back, but also I was bruised from stem to stern back on a crisscross, and my hip was so messed up. And she said, then I got the bomb. Then she said, I said, well, great. You can fix one thing. Let's get going. Let's get this surgery done. I got to get to work. And she says, well, you got a little problem. She says, you have a choice. You can have this surgery, or you can be in a wheelchair the rest of your life. But you have another problem. I don't feel right doing this surgery on you. You're too heavy. You need to lose at least 30 pounds before I can do this surgery and it become more successful. For the optimum success.
Yeah.
I went, oh, great. I can either be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, not be able to move, not be able this or that. How in heaven's name am I going to lose 30 pounds? And I can't even hardly get around. I told her that. She says, well, where there's a will, there's a way. And she walked off with her little. Well, to make a long story short, that afternoon, after we went to the surgeon, George had brought me home to lay down, which I was spending a lot of time flat on the couch just to relieve my pain. Because any kind of standing up or any of that kind of stuff was just killing me. Well, Holly calls me. So, and not knowing what George and I had gone through, because I hadn't had time to tell her. And she calls me, oh, Mom, guess what? There's a new thing Beachbody's got out. I go, what? What are you talking about, Holly? What are you talking about? It's called Shakeology. I says, what the hell is a shake? A what? And she started, excuse me for my swearing. I said, what? Because right then I really wasn't in the best of moods. Yeah. And she says, no. She says, this stuff is supposed to give you all the vitamins and all the minerals and everything you need for one whole day. And I went, okay, what, and then she says, Mom, what's the matter? So I told her what the doctor had said. And she goes, well, Mom, just try it. Just try it. Maybe it'll help. I don't know. I just barely started using it myself. I said, okay. Well, to make a long story shorter or longer, whichever end you're listening to right now, I started on Shakeology right away. And just as soon as she got it to the house, that is. I think George went after it. Didn't you, babe, that day?
I think so.
Yeah, you went after it because you figured it could be something that would help me. So within 15 days, I think it was about 30 days. I had another appointment with the doctor, and I had been on Shakeology for the 30 days. Within that 15 days, I had lost 17 pounds without exercise. The very prescription that the little doctor had given me and I thought was impossible was now possible. So she said, okay, you've got 30 days in, but I need you to lose another 15 pounds or so. She says, I'll schedule the surgery now, and it'll take us about a month to get in. So within that is my story of how Shakeology got me out of a mess. So that is my story, and that is what I use. The one reason I love this story is because Beachbody found it's not my salvation, but they found a way for people to lose weight. I don't know, it doesn't sound like you've ever had that problem, but I've dealt with weight all of my life. In fact, I was such a fat baby, they didn't know which end to spank. That's what my mom used to say, and she's been gone a while. But I had ripple after ripple after ripple thanks to her, because she stopped smoking and started eating. She was pregnant with me. But you know, what I love about our stories is the fact that we can use them in media, you know, in social media. And there's so many things just in that one story I told you today, that there's so many things that allows me to open up to people, because there's a lot of people out there that can't exercise. These people that are 200 pounds, you think they start doing T25? I don't think so. I think they, you know, I think they really need to start. Now I'm able to do a lot of things, and I'm not in a wheelchair, thank God. And I am moving around a lot better. And I still have to be careful, because spinal stenosis, did I explain it, what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens is when they do the surgery, you have to weaken the outer wall of your spine. And so to enable that, you know, the blood flow. So you still have to be careful. Certain jumping and things like that I can't do. But that's okay. I've lived a much happier life because of Shakeology. And the other thing I forgot to mention, which my husband probably would have in a second, was the fact that you can talk about that, George. What did the doctor say after she got done with the surgery the next day?
Okay. Surgery went well, as we expected that it would be, and this didn't happen right after the surgery. This is something that happened probably a year or two later, when you were talking to because we were on Kaiser at that time. And so she had Dr. Bahadori, which is a female doctor, and she knew of the test, and she knew of Peg's situation prior to us even going there. And so she knew that from the x-rays that she had this Peronini, and how fragile and her bones were. And she said they were really, really fragile. What's happened was, like a couple years later, she basically, Peg and I, we go to all of our, if she has a doctor's appointment, I go with her. If I have one, she goes with me, because 4 years at our age is a lot better than just 2. So, but Dr. Bahadori looked at her and she goes, "What are you doing?" Because we had to have some more tests on Peg's back because of another issue. And Peg says, "Well, what do you mean?" She says, "Well, I'm comparing what your bone density was before you saw me. I'm comparing it 2 years later, basically, to what it is now." And she says, "It is a lot stronger." And she said, "Your Peronini, whatever that thing is actually not gone away, but it's not gotten any worse." And so Peg said, "Well, the only thing we can attribute that is to our Shakeology." And so from then we explained to the doctor what it was. She said, "Well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it." So there was that huge side effect, or side benefit, I want to say, because of all, we've got to say Shakeology, because nothing else changed other than our eating habits changed. You know, we got better. But the Shakeology, I mean, I attested from my own personal, but especially because of Peg. She was there going through it.
Yeah. The doctor, I was very grateful for that, because she did say that at this rate, there's a good possibility, because you're supposed to get your bone density done every 3 years. And she said at this rate, there was a good possibility I might be out of that by the time I would go back in another 3 years. So I hope so. I really do. So, okay, Angela. Well, I don't know if George wants to, you don't have your story done, or your journey done yet, right?
Yeah, I think I steal more from, well, my mom has cancer, my dad has cancer, my dad has Alzheimer's, my husband has cancer. So I think I look at it more of preventative, and I wish, well, yeah, that kind of stuff. You know,
Right.
That's where I think I said, well, you know, and to change my, you know, after all this happens, I started looking for things to, you know, find those superfoods and stuff that I think could prevent these things. So, or at least slow down the Alzheimer's. I think, because certain things, if you're going to get it, I think that's one. But I think you can slow it down. I don't know. That's just kind of how I see things. So I think that's kind of where I'm coming from with a lot of it, and why I think Shakeology is so important. I think having that in my diet is preventative.
Right. I've heard of people that have IBS, symptoms are less. I've known of people that have cancer that go in remission. And I can't say, we're not supposed to say definitely it's Shakeology, but they were full-blown cancer before and then they went in remission. I think that's a positive step. Holly's, I always use this one because I still can't believe it. When Holly's dog had skin cancer, she started giving her dog a shake a day, and it went away on a dog. You know, and the dog lived another 3 years before she went to heaven. But anyway, I mean, Shakeology is awesome, and there's a lot of things that's in Shakeology that helps to make us healthier every day, and it gives us a lot of energy too. I know you know that for a fact. But what I know, it's not just Shakeology; it's also the workouts. I think that are helpful. Don't you think so?
And I think what Beachbody has over these other companies is the whole package. Because I hear of one trainer, she started doing this Thrive stuff, which I don't know about. I've heard of all these other, not a lot of them. Some are just protein drinks. That's not talking about those. But I think Isagenix has something kind of similar with superfoods. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like it's the whole package. They're getting maybe the nutritional piece, but they're not. So I think we have that. We have everything, everything to live a healthy life.
Well, and I think one of the most important things is each other.
Yeah.
Holding, I really do. I think being able to have these Zoom calls, be able to know that you've got my number, and I would relish working with you later on after we're done with the cup if you want. I've helped several people that become diamond, if that's your desire. I mean, some people don't want to become diamond.
Why?
I don't know. I think they think there's responsibility to it, but it's a lot of joy for me, being able to say, well, okay, what's a good exercise plan, and all that kind of stuff, to be able to talk it over. I don't know. It's fun. It's really a lot of fun. But just because you don't think you have a story, I think you do.
No, I do, but I don't think I have it. I don't have it fine-tuned enough, I guess. Right.
Which is fine, but the way I have found fine-tuned mine is by testing it on social media. Don't be afraid to be transparent out there. And I know if it had been 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done that either. But without a doubt, it draws people to you. And those, you've got your warm market, right? Everybody, that your warm market, and you want to just keep talking to them. But when that has gone away, to use your story and your journey, and I don't care. I mean, for me, it was like I would lose 10 pounds and gain 15, and then lose 20, and then blah, 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 back and forth. So I lost the same person 4 or 5 times over my lifetime. So, there's that aspect of it. I don't know, maybe you don't have that problem. Probably if you're drinking Shakeology, you don't, because, it takes away my cravings anyway. But it's just one of those things, I really hope you kind of think about your journey. And if you don't have one, steal one from somebody else. It's okay. Not steal it. Ask if you can borrow it.
Share it.
Share it. Yeah, share it. Yeah. George, would you like to share what happened to you and how you lost your weight? By the way, I'm still 45 pounds thinner. Yahoo! I got some more to lose. That's okay.
That's okay. It's a journey.
So, it's the way it goes. Okay.
How we doing on time? Because
I've got about 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Can
I
you do
won't
it
be
in
able to
3
do
minutes?
the whole story in 3 minutes, no. But what I want to share though, as far as like what Shakeology has done for me is, I don't eat vegetables. I didn't eat vegetables.
He
Don't.
never ate a carrot in his life. Let me close this door a minute. Go ahead.
I normally don't like vegetables and those kind of things. So what really attracted me in the beginning was the fact that Shakeology gave me the minerals, the vitamins, and everything. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "I don't have to eat any vegetables. I take a drink a day, and I'm fine." And they said, "Yeah, you'll get everything you need." I said, "Well, then sign me up, because that's what I like." So, but I'll give the story maybe next week. The full-blown story of why it actually started that way. But that was the biggest thing for me, is being able to get all those things. So I knew getting older, I've got to take care of myself. And I do want to interject, Angela, you've got a tremendous story. It starts with your mom and dad. And by sharing their life, okay, they weren't fortunate to have what we have with the Shakeology, the healthy eating as well as we are, today, because it wasn't indwelled in them, okay, as it is today. And you look at the media, it is just bombarded by healthy eating, healthy eating, healthy. It's always talking about that. So, and it doesn't mean you can't have a hamburger once in a while, but it does mean that you need to be more conscientious, just like what you're doing. So you're on the right path. You've got a huge story.
Yeah. He made what he's not telling you is he made a promise to Holly. And that promise he has held to. Right, Mr. Han?
Yeah, it promised back in 2011. And I've been, ever since I lost the weight in 2012, so it took about 9 months in going through the programs. But in 9 months, I went down about 38 pounds. But from where I was headed, I used to weigh almost 250 pounds. And now I float between 199 and 203. And that's been floating like that for what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Thank God, but I will not give up my Shakeology.
We miss it. We miss it when we don't have it, when we go away. And we were away for a little bit this week. Well, Angela, you're the lady of the hour. Do you have any, the other people are going to have to listen to the recording. Do you have any questions for me or anything that you would like to hear next week? Because I know you're a busy lady.
No, I mean, I just know that I need to put more time into everything, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, how are you doing as far as Success Club? Are you doing anything with that? I know you're busy. Or how many hours are you working this month?
So yeah, because I'm back to work full time, and then I have my group exercise job. So I'm doing those like pockets. I'm like, I know people do these power hours and multiple hours. I'm doing these little pockets.
You know what?
So
there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. What do you teach in Group X? What do you teach?
I teach for 24, and then I have a friend that owns a Zumba studio. But
how fun!
There, but I don't teach Zumba.
You don't do Zumba?
No.
Oh, well, it's okay. You can do Zumba. It doesn't matter if it's Beachbody approved or not.
They don't want to see me teach it.
Oh. Yeah. I saw Zumba being done in the water. I think that's a blast.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah, it really is a blast. Well, I don't have anything else for this evening. I was hoping more people would be on, but you know what? It's okay. I am honored to be able to let you hear it firsthand, and everybody else is just going to have to hear it later.
Yeah.
Okay. You sure there's nothing else? No. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close for this evening. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to read something to you. See if I can find. You know Og Mandino, right? It says Og Mandino has been suffering. This is what he truly did. Talking about your parents. Was it your mom or your dad that had the dementia?
My dad.
So your dad. That's just so sad. My mom had it for for 2 years, and she was hard to deal with. Anyway, Og Mandino had been suffering from depression and on the brink of suicide when he picked up a copy of Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. Inspired by the book, he worked at Stone Combined Insurance Company in America. Subsequently, working his way into management, in 1960, he was handpicked by Stone to become the new editor of Success Magazine. And an article he wrote on the legislative golfer Ben Hodgins caught the eye of the New York publisher, and the rest was publishing history. The Greatest Salesman in the World was released 18 months later, and the day remained one of the bestsellers. To this day, it remains one of the best-selling books on the philosophy of salesmanship. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but you can pick it up through Amazon, The Greatest Salesman in the World. It is an awesome book. So I will end with that, and God bless you, sweetie. We will we'll see you next week. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk on next week, but if you want to shoot me some ideas, I could use them. All right.
Nice to see you, Angela.
No, very nice to see you, Angela, and bye-bye.
Bye.
I got to figure out how to shut this off. There it goes. I think, whoops. I don't know why there it goes. Uh-oh.